Hello, my loves. This is Heidi Raquel with your March soul message for 2021. Weary is one word for it. We have about 2 more weeks, March 13th, I believe, until we're out of Mercury retrograde shadow, and I am in it right now. Technical difficulties for at least the last hour before recording this, so I am reverting to the old familiar, the old standard, as it were. So, are you okay? Are you surviving? February was a doozy in all the ways. And here we have March, a fresh start and something new. I'm calling this one Defining Your Circle. And this is definitely going to be a month of boundaries, of clarity, of cleaning up your shit. Internal, external, all of it, and getting really clear about who you are, what you want to, and what you are here to do and provide for yourself and others. And, where your boundaries are leaky, where things aren't working, so that you can clean all of that up. Like I said at the beginning of this year, it's going to take me all year to understand this energy, to be able to explain it. There's several astrologers that I follow because I like to just see how it coincides with things that I'm feeling. And many of them have said, even as professional astrologers that have been doing this for years, the energy that they are feeling right now is so out of control, or the astrology that they're reading is so out of control, that it is hard to claim it, pull it down, define it all, and get it there. So even though I have written the blog and I have notes here, I still know that there are things that are going to get left out. So, defining your circle, what does that mean? In individual healing sessions, this is a tool that I work with a lot, the imagery of drawing your circle. And the purpose for that is to be able to see where your boundaries are leaky, shore those up, see where your boundaries are leaky and where they're leaking to, again, shoring those up. But once you have that circle defined, once you have that space clear and you know what it is, once there's kind of a fence, that's been latched, now you have space to see what's in your circle. You have space to see what's dusty, what's dirty, what's moldy. Look at old loyalty contracts with people that you might not even be in relationship with anymore, but you're still operating from old loyalty contracts. Looking at where you're carrying around old baggage, emotional, mental, physical, whatever it is, because whatever is hanging out in your energy field, you can be sure that it is going to show up in your body. One of the kind of commonplace sayings in the energy healing world is, specifically in pranic healing, one of the modalities that I use is the physical body maps to the energy body. So whatever's happening in the energy field will show up in your body. And by the time it shows up in your body, it has been there a very long time already. So when I tuned in for the energy of March to ask what's going on here, the image that I was shown was that circle. The circle with a dot in the center, the circle that I often draw in healing sessions. And that image has been showing up a lot. For years it's been showing up, this circle with a dot in the center of it. And it's only a couple months ago that I discovered, even though I use that symbol in my Instagram profile, because I was using that for a sense of like boundaries, sacred space, sovereignty, did I discover that that is actually the astrological symbol for the sun. And the sun is your true, authentic self. Some astrologers say whatever your sun sign is not necessarily what you have well defined and who you are, but it is the arc and the trajectory of what you're working on in this life. So it couldn't be better. It's like everything about March is clearing and defining your boundaries. And there's this other aspect of cleaning and sorting, this whole idea of this goes, this stays, and really cleaning there. And when I first heard that cleaning, I was like, what are you talking about? Like, January was already a clean slate. And then February was what? February was upside down. Clearly, we're still like in a little bit of that upside down here with Mercury retrograde still going on. But I was like, wow, we've been working with cleaning for so long. How is this different from January? And what I was shown was that January, the clean slate, was the opportunity for change that is presented, because last year was a 4, the 4 legs on the table, getting stable. This year is a 5. Now it's like the table is built and we're working across the table. We're creating collaborations. We're, creating on the table and sharing cross platform with other people. So there's a lot of collaboration energy and community energy coming in. But this month is cleaning your own space. That can be outside, that can be in your physical space, it can be in your physical body, it can be in your energy space, all of it. But it's time to kind of get in right relationship with your soul, with your spirit, with how you are showing up here, and is it in right relationship with who you're actually here to be. And one of the things we all have been seeing show up a whole lot, especially on social media, is cancel culture. And to me, it's just an absolute cancer, the whole thing. I talked about in the blog the Shakespeare line, "To thine own self be true." And so what's super important about March, what we're being shown, is you have to take a look, you have to assess your space, and you have to look and see, are you sitting in the driver's seat of your own car or are you not? And if you are not, if you are in the passenger seat, you can absolutely guarantee that something or someone else will come and get in that driver's seat. It's like the vacuum effect. If it's not there, something or someone is going to come and take that space. And is that going to come in the form of an empath-narcissist relationship? Is that going to come in the form of the government, the medical industry, the religious institutions leading you around by the nose because you're not in your own, you're not in the driver's seat? What form is that going to come in? Could come in, many, many forms. But you are the best judge of yourself, of what you're doing. And the way that you make sure that you're doing that well is to be centered in your decision making and to be happy with and connected to the decisions that you're making for yourself. If you're proud of those, if you know that you're showing up in your best way, cancel culture can just suck it. Like, it's not going to touch you because you know what you are doing. And you are anchored and rooted in that. And we're being shown and led this month at like, hey, and this is going to go through the rest of the year and going forward. We have to dig deep and authentically be who we are. And that means showing up exactly as we are. And no one else gets to tell you what that looks like or, what that is for you. And so there's this way of like, this Kali energy of like putting the stake in the ground and claiming who we really are and showing up and being that. And part of that is this idea of masking and showing up differently than we really are. So when you are projecting an image out into the world that is different than who you are never going to be nourished, because what is going to happen is you are going to receive food. It's like pretending that you're a different plant than you really are. You are never going to receive the right nourishment, the right sun, the right water, the right nutrients, because the outside world is reflecting back to you the image that you're projecting out. So you will never be nourished unless and until you show up as you truly are, because you're going to be receiving the wrong nutrients. So this is what we're really being called into this month. It's full stop, stop pretending to be someone else. Stop showing up in ways that you aren't. And I'll tell you that personally for me, this last month of February was really challenging. So, if you've been following me for a while, you know that I decided to leave Instagram, all of social media pretty much for the month of February. And I've popped in here and there just to check on messages or, kind of seeing if there was anything lingering. And what I noticed when I came in was like, wow, this energy of competition and people, projecting an image and, it's not really where I want to be. And, truthfully, as I assess it, it's really a shopping app, and they're not even trying to hide that anymore, because they've moved, where the heart is and the shopping down at the bottom. And it's like, you're either shopping for a different way to do your business, or you're shopping for a different style, a different way to look. You're shopping for physical products, and all of that's fine if you're actually selling a product and that's what you want to do. And but you just have to be aware that that's where you are and that's what you're doing. And what I'm being called to do is really get clear about what is it that I want to do, and where do I want to show up, and how do I want to show up, and what platforms feel nourishing to me. And I know probably since the beginning of getting on Instagram, like one of the main reasons that I did is because I was an entrepreneur. I had a business. I felt like, I was supposed to do it. It isn't really supporting the kind of content that I want to create. And so I'm looking at different platforms, Patreon, Mighty Networks for creating groups, and just some different things. So stay tuned for some of that. But I want to honor that there's a really painful chapter that we're going through right now, because as we look at this terrain, we have to see where we've been leaky with our boundaries, where we've shown up differently than we truly are, where we've worn a mask, trying to pretend that we're someone else or something else, to kind of fit into society. And we're being called to dust all of that off and come out into our true, authentic nature, because nobody needs a clone of somebody else. We need to be who we truly are so that we can give our gifts authentically. So I've gone way off track of what I thought I was going to say here, because that's just how it goes. But you can read the blog for more information. So one other thing I do want to bring here is this reveal energy. I've been talking about this since, September, October, something like that. I was feeling this reveal energy coming up, and just kind of like, where is this going? It keeps disappearing and then kind of coming back and then disappearing again. And what came through when I tuned in for the energy of March, I was kind of blown away by it, honestly, because what I was shown is, because we're moving from duality to unity consciousness, or some people's language is 3D to 5D, but mine is duality to unity consciousness. And because we're doing that, and the way that I would define that in what's happening in the body is a reconnection with the masculine feminine. So we all have masculine feminine inside of us, feminine on the left, masculine on the right. And most of us have divorced the crisscross of energy that is supposed to be happening through our spinal column, that strengthens the light in our spinal column. It strengthens our physical, mental, emotional, spiritual health. It's all of it. And there's a whole bunch of ways to strengthen it, which is part of some of the teaching that I want to do going forward in this year, to help people understand how to strengthen that and what to do outside of individual sessions. And so what we do is we get stuck in this homolateral pattern of being on one or the other side, and you might be operating on both, but you're not crisscrossing. So that's the energy that we're moving through. Well, what does that mean? that means out in the external world, it means collaborating with others. And what does that do? Well, that calls us to trust, and we're all very disconnected, from our trust. Specifically in the U.S., it's really nuts how we have this idea of success and the expectation of like once you turn 18, you're supposed to, leave the house and never come back. And if you do, you've failed. You've failed at adulting, whatever it is. And in other cultures, you see multiple generations living together for their whole lives. Because anything else, it would just be cruel and unusual to be, so isolated. So it's like that's the wound that we're healing. And so we have to come back together and start, working together. So how does this go along with reveal energy? Well, what I was shown is that the reveal isn't coming from the outside. The reveal is like as each one of us comes back online, redefines who we are, reconnects to our authentic nature, we are collectively building what I guess I would call is like a reveal wave. It's like we're building and strengthening the light and the energy in the collective consciousness. And so it's like the reveal is going to come through this giant wave. We've been working with that wave energy for months also, of the collective conscious and the collective consciousness waking up. And so it's like the reveal is going to come with each of us individually working on our own consciousness and waking up and cleaning up our energy and claiming our territory again. And really being vigilant about it. I'm talking about fierce decision making that is really claiming who you are and being very, I can't think of another word right now, but fierce about it. So anyways, all right. Let's see, let's do a card. A couple suggestions that I had for this month were, before I pull a card, I'll say a couple suggestions for this month were redefining self-care. As we are strengthening our light and building our internal reserves and awareness and coming into our intuitive abilities and all of this, we are needing different methods of self-care. So be gentle with yourself as you lean into that. What used to work might not work anymore. You might need something else. I know for me, I'm needing a lot more space out and stare at the ceiling time just to process everything that's happening. Sort and define or redefine, that's part of that cleaning energy. I'm talking about like channeling your inner Marie Kondo. Like if it doesn't spark joy, like toss it, it's out. Like, really vigilant about this. And then the other piece is dropping the masks. And that's that piece I talked about with the nourishment. Is like we have to get to a place where it's so important that we be nourished in the way that we need to be nourished, that we just let go of this idea of pretending to be someone else or trying to keep up with the Joneses or trying to look like someone else's profile or do the work that they're doing. Some of what's come through for me in February is just realizing like, I'm trying to look for examples of, what it is that I'm wanting to offer so that I can figure out how to offer it. And I'm realizing that there isn't like a boilerplate. Like I'm going to have to piece it together myself. So it takes some more work and some more research. I'll get into the oil of the month in a second here, but let's pull a card and see what the cards have to say for this month. Already this year, we've had the Destroyer in January, breaking it all down. The Shapeshifter in February. I mean, hello. like looking at the shadow of ourselves. Everything that we thought was solid is not solid. The inside, outside, upside down energy that just like nothing's making sense. Reveal. And for March, we have the Hunter. Seriously, it's like we're on the hunt for our true, authentic selves. I mean, can't make this shit up, folks. Can't make this shit up. The Hunter. I mean, all the symbols on the card are arrows. The Seeker, the Pursuer, the Predator. Of course, it's an image of a horse going into the light, finding itself. The Hunter hunts. They are on a precise mission with an aim. To return home empty-handed would be to fail, which is not an option in the hunter's eye. This is being that fierce, like I am claiming who I am and I am not going to waver from that. This archetype will journey far and wide seeking the prize that calls to its heart or stomach. Tales of bravery and feats of strength often result, creating a life full of adventure. The hunter is skillful, quick, decisive, and results-oriented. Like the great hunting goddess Artemis, who carries her quiver upon her back, the hunter typically has a weapon of choice. When this card appears, it is critical that you ask 3 questions. What am I hunting? Why am I hunting it? And is the weapon I hold so tightly in my grip truly needed for the task at hand? So this is like, where am I going? Where am I going? Why am I going there? And is the method that I've been using up until now appropriate for where I'm going now? Does it even make sense? When light, focused, energized, respectful, seasoned. When dark, irresponsible, violates, violent, poaching. So that's like, when I hear that irresponsible, violates, violent, poaching, it's almost like, are you being the narcissist yourself? Are you crossing other people's boundaries? Study the Greek god Artemis. Notice her nuanced relationship to the moon, the earth, and the feminine. The predator honors its prey with a precise and skillful hunt. The hunter deeply reveres the life it aims to take. And that is so important. The reverence of claiming who we really are. Like there's this way that I'm like, God, I don't want to leave Instagram because I feel like I'll be missing out on the fun. I'll be missing out on, what other people are doing. And then I'm like, but if it doesn't feel like it's me, and maybe it's just for a time, maybe I'll come back to it. I'm kind of even leaning towards going back to Facebook and seeing how that might hold space better for what it is that I want to create. We'll see. But there's a grief. There's a letting go of like who I've been, or the kind of business as usual that I've been doing, which is ironic that I come back to filming it this way out of necessity for the moment. When you activate the hunter archetype, you are aligning your energy with the great creatures of the world. The lion, the wolf, the tiger, the shark. Do so with care. I mean, this is my wolf. It's like been calling to me for such a long time. So, all right, oil of the month. So as many of you know, I'm new to offering doTERRA as part of my practice. So every month, if you are a doTERRA member and you're a loyalty rewards program member, there is an oil that doTERRA offers for free with 125 PV order. And that is revealed on the first of the month. So I don't know what that is yet. I'll put it in the blog as soon as I know, because I'm recording this ahead of time. For my own personal, what I was guided to share this month for the support of March, and that is the oil grapefruit. And the emotional property of grapefruit is honoring your body. And, it's funny because I've only been adding an oil here in these messages since January. So January we had wild orange, February we had bergamot, and now we have grapefruit, all 3 citrus oils. And all I can guess is it's because we're doing so much clearing, and citrus oils are fabulous at clearing. So And it's funny that all 3 oils I didn't have before I was shown that that was the oil. So you can believe that I have grapefruit in my March order. Honing, or what was I trying to say? Honoring your body with grapefruit here. This is about more than honoring your physical body. It's about owning your home as your body, your car as your body. It's about honoring and holding reverence for all of this space that I'm talking about here. And so it's about truly loving who you are and revealing that. And that's what I'm talking about this, collective consciousness reveal energy. As you dive deeper into claiming who you truly are and revealing who you truly are, you become part of this collective conscious wave of reveal energy. And that's how it works. It's like we're all doing it independently, but also together. And so, grapefruit, it's delicious to add a couple drops to your glass of water. Make sure to use a glass container for that. And, if you need support with healing sessions, with, figuring out what needs to be let go in your space, spirit readings, doTERRA oils, whatever you feel called to, please reach out at any time. And I'm here and I'm walking the path with you. I'm walking this journey with you. It is not easy. It is not for the faint at heart. And we have to just love ourselves through it and love our people through it. In the blog I talked about, for February and just this whole year, like, do you need a lifeline? Do you need to phone a friend? I've needed all of it. And we have to be willing to lean on our people. And that means revealing who we are, right? We have to be honest about where we are. We have to be honest about, how we're feeling and what we need, or we can't get our needs met. It's bittersweet. Because as you go down there to claim that, you have to also claim and recognize and honor where you have betrayed yourself. And so we've got to heal that and love ourselves back to oneness, back to unity. And in that way, we also feel more that we belong, because we aren't separating ourselves out with judgment, judging ourselves. And all of that. So Women's Circle this month is March 18th at 7 p.m. The last I checked, there were 5 spots available. You can find that on my website, devilmagenta.com. And we'll see what comes the rest of this month. I'm just listening and going where I'm called to go. So I have no promises about what's coming in the immediate, but I have a lot of things coming to offer in the future, as it's time for those to come together. So anyways, love you. Be well. Do well, be well this month, and take care of yourselves, and just honor your own precious heart and the beauty that you are in all the mess. However it shows up, just let it be what it is, and love yourself through it, and we'll get through this together. All right. Namaste.